بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. قالوا يا موسى إنا لن ندخلها أبدا ما داموا فيها فاذهب أنت وربك فقاتلا إنا هاهنا قاعدون. قال رب إني لا أملك إلا نفسي وأخي فافرق بيننا وبين القوم الفاسقين. قال فإنها محرمة عليهم 40 سنة يتيهون في الأرض فلا تأس على القوم الفاسقين. واتل عليهم نبأ ابني آدم بالحق إذ قربا قربانا فتقبل من أحدهما ولم يتقبل من الآخر قال لأقتلنك. قال إنما يتقبل الله من المتقين. لئن بسطت إلي يدك لتقتلني ما أنا بباسط يدي إليك لأقتلك إني أخاف الله رب العالمين. إني أريد أن تبوء بإثمي وإثمك فتكون من أصحاب النار وذلك جزاء الظالمين. فطوعت له نفسه قتل أخيه فقتله فأصبح من الخاسرين. فبعث الله غرابا يبحث في الأرض ليريه كيف يواري سوءة أخيه. قال يا ويلتى أعجزت أن أكون مثل هذا الغراب فأواري سوءة أخي فأصبح من النادمين. اللهم كن لوليك الحجة ابن الحسن صلواتك عليه وعلى آبائه في هذه الساعة وفي كل ساعة وليا وحافظا وقائدا وناصرا ودليلا وعينا حتى تسكنه أرضك تروعا وتمتعه فيها
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين بارئ الخلائق الأجمعين باعث الأنبياء والمرسلين ثم الصلاة والسلام على سيدنا حبيبنا حبيب قلوبنا وشفيع نفوسنا أبي القاسم محمد اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد وعلى أهل بيته الطيبين الطاهرين. الحمد لله الذي هدانا لهذا وما كنا لنهتدي لولا أن هدانا الله. أما بعد فقد قال الله في كتابه المبين أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم اقرأ بسم ربك الذي خلق. Brothers and sisters, may we begin with the salawat ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. We conclude our discussion today, inshallah, in regards to the theory of knowledge. So we had discussions, we had conversations, we had in detailed discourse upon the different sources of knowledge, the different tools we can use, the different stages we can use to get there, and finally, what practical, pragmatic implementation we can get in order to attain this knowledge, what practical, pragmatic implementation we can do in order to get to this reality. As we alluded to yesterday in our talk on Sayyidah Khadija, we spoke about the aspect of loyalty. We spoke about the sifat of loyalty and trustworthiness, most specifically. So we stated, Imam Ali alayhi salam mentioned very eloquently and very specifically that the two foundational tenets of our faith are trustworthiness, or rather truthfulness, and loyalty. And we discussed the point about loyalty and came to understand that loyalty is a characteristic trait that we need to now take into our life most seriously. And the only way we can stay loyal as individuals, the only way we can stay loyal as the companions of Hussein ibn Ali were, the only way we can stay loyal as Sayyidah Khadija was, we can do this simply and solely only by observing the reality, observing the haqq, and understanding nature for the sake of what it is. So this is where our discourse concludes. That we understood that the definition of the truth is what? Our purpose in life was this, no? Our purpose in life was to attain the truth. Our purpose in life is to attain haqq, to be able to recognize it, to be able to perceive it, and to be able to use it to reform ourselves, and to be able to use it to reform others. So in order to recognize this truth, we had lengthy discussions. However, today, inshallah, we will bring this to a close and state that in order for us to recognize the truth, the most important aspect of this is to fulfill the rights and responsibilities we have over ourselves and we have over other people. And this is, for example, mentioned in Risalat al-Huquq. In Risalat al-Huquq, the rights and responsibilities of everything have been mentioned. We touched upon this yesterday. If we fulfill these rights, and if we fulfill the responsibilities, only then can we say we have attained haqq. Only then can we say we're pursuing the truth. Only then can we say haqiqah is now an argument, because we've fulfilled the rights, we've fulfilled the responsibility, and now we can devise an actual theory of truth where we are absolutely, in essence, understanding Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and pursuing in that path, because we know that truth in its entirety is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in his entirety is truth. So, in efforts, inshallah, to tie all of the pieces we had over the last 9 nights into a close, I would like to bring a tradition by Amir al-Mu'mineen Ali ibn Abi Talib, salawat ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Allahumma salli ala. Where he states, the perfection of religion is in what? Brothers and sisters, I ask you. The perfection of religion, if I was to ask you, is in what? Is in what value? Is in what virtue? We covered this in one other tradition yesterday, however today, specifically in regards to knowledge. Imam Ali stated what? The perfection of religion is in seeking knowledge. However, does he stop there? He said the perfection of religion is in seeking knowledge and implementing that. It's a two-part process. The perfection of religion is in attaining the knowledge that we have been discussing over the past few days. And after we have attained said knowledge, After we have attained this ilm, we need to implement it. We need to use it. We need to act upon it. It's not simply an exercise in, for example, theoretical understanding. This is an exercise in us gaining this ilm and actually implementing it moving forward. In us gaining this ilm and using it for the common good. So when Imam Ali is stating that the perfection of your religion, the kamal of the religion is in what exactly? The kamal of your religion is in attaining knowledge, but however, he doesn't stop there. And acting upon it. And implementing. And doing something where you are putting use to that ilm. Yes? Simply getting a degree is not enough. If I say to you, masalan, you go and you can study medicine and then do nothing with it. Was there any use in studying this? Absolutely not. If it wasn't applied for something, if it wasn't used to do something, if it didn't improve your life or anyone else's life, how was this knowledge in the ilm of medicine conducive for your understanding? It's the same way with religion. All aspects of ilm that we have, in order for us to make it conducive to our understanding, what do we need to do? We need to gain it. I'm not saying don't, but then we need to apply it. We need to implement it. Only when we've acted and implemented it can we say that we have knowledge. The knowledgeable are not those who, for example, just have a lot of information and data. The knowledgeable are those, according to Ali ibn Abi Talib, are those who have the information, are those who have the data and act upon it and actually work with it. They are the people we can say are wise. And we covered this a few nights ago, that we can measure, for example, what's a good measuring tool to say whether we are attaining true knowledge or whether we are attaining a knowledge of another form. It's upon your character. If with the increase of knowledge we're becoming more arrogant, what you're attaining is not knowledge. If with the attaining of knowledge what you're becoming is more humble, this is what we are speaking about here. Because when we pursue knowledge, we understand that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is Al-Alim. When we understand that He is Al-Alim, it brings a humility within inside us. When it brings a humility within inside us, that we see at this point in time that it's impossible for one to be arrogant if they are truly seeking knowledge, if they are truly trying to attain kamal in that sense. So the conclusion I would like to bring is in linking with wealth. So we're familiar with the attaining of wealth, right? We're familiar with the discourse on how one should go about attaining wealth, how one should go about attaining knowledge. So we know that there's two arguments going on here. We know that there's two conversations, and there's many ahadith on both sides to support our claim. So I would like to ask you, what differences are there in attaining wealth, and what differences are there in attaining knowledge? So the first difference is what? The attaining of knowledge is limited or unlimited. The attaining of knowledge is simply, in one sentence, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us, unlimited to the human being. One of the ayahs we can use to corroborate this, وَعَلَّمَ آدَمَ أَسْمَاءَ كُلَّهَا. Yes, all of the names were taught to Hazrat Adam. So if we look at some of the mufassirin, they stated that this is talking about ilm. So when it comes to understanding knowledge, the ability for us to understand knowledge is unlimited. However, when we talk about wealth, is this limited or unlimited? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala states that this is ordained. This is written for you. On nights like, for example, Laylatul Qadr, which is coming. On nights where our wealth and our mal is going to be appropriated. In the Quran, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala states, a just allocator has divided this amongst you. What does this mean? The thing that we strive after the most, the thing that we go after the most, that's already been written for us. But the thing, for example, we may take for granted, which is the pursuit of knowledge, this is unlimited. The more we pursue it, the more we can take it. So when it comes to wealth, this is ordained by a just allocator. But when it comes to knowledge, everything is to our disposal in this aspect. So an interesting discourse and comparison between wealth and knowledge was brought in the conversation between Imam Ali and Kumail. We remember this discourse, right? So Kumail and Imam Ali were having a conversation. Like, what are the differences between wealth and knowledge? What is the afzaliyat of knowledge over wealth? How can one say that knowledge is superior to wealth? Imam Ali, in his eloquence, he gave the most beautiful response. He said, "Oh Kumail, when we speak about knowledge and when we speak about ilm, the first difference of knowledge and wealth is what? It states that when we speak about knowledge, knowledge protects you. But when we speak about wealth, you need to protect it. Is this not the case? When we have knowledge, it allows you to differentiate between right and wrong. It protects you from doing the wrong thing or the right thing. It allows you to make the right decision in the way of the haqq. No? However, when you have wealth, what do you need to do? You need to be protecting it. You need to be covering it. You need to make sure nothing happens to it. So Imam Ali states, first and foremost, knowledge protects you, whereas you protect wealth. Our second discourse on the same matter is what? Imam Ali continues, O Kumail, knowledge judges, whereas money and wealth is judged upon. What do we mean here? Knowledge is the means through which you can understand what's right and what's wrong. It's the differentiating factor between what is right and what's wrong. It's the thing we can use to judge what's right and what's wrong. But money is the thing that's used for us to be judged on how we use our wealth, how we spend our wealth, how we, for example, allocate our wealth to the needy, how we allocate our wealth to community needs. So Imam Ali states that when we speak about knowledge, this allows you to judge. When we speak about wealth, this is judged upon. How does Imam conclude the tradition? Imam concludes the tradition beautifully. He states that what's the main difference between knowledge and wealth? And what is, for example, my personal favorite aspect of this tradition is this. Imam Ali states, O Kumail, when you spend wealth, what happens to it? It decreases. And when you spend knowledge, brothers and sisters, what happens to it? It goes up. How remarkable. How remarkable. Think about this. The more we spend knowledge, the more we teach, the more we spend our time in mubahitha and bahs, it increases. The more we spend our wealth, what happens to it? It decreases. So the thing that's going to give us, for example, immortality in the ayah that I'm going to mention, the aspect of knowledge that gives us the identification of what truth is, the aspect of knowledge which allows us to identify the very purpose of our existence, which is to attain the truth. This is unlimited in its nature, and not only is it unlimited, the more you use it, the more it increases. Knowledge is like a portrait. Yes, there's many layers to it. It's not like a snapshot, like a camera. It's a portrait. First you do the first layer. You read a book again, there's a second layer. You read a book again, there's a third layer. It's never the case where you read a book and you understand it in its entirety. Knowledge increases and it perfects, whereas we see wealth decreases and it is limited. So understanding that, we know that the more knowledge we attain, the clearer it becomes. Yes? The more knowledge we attain, the more we're allowed to actually see what haqq and haqiqat is. And this links to our point in taqwa, which we will cover on in the end. However, the point being made, and Imam concludes the tradition as follows, that if we understand the nature of those who actually hold on to their wealth, and the nature of those who hold on to their knowledge, what is the aspect we're speaking about here? Imam Ali states that the people who hold on to wealth, what are they? They are dead while they are alive. Think about this. The people who hold on to and retain to their wealth for the sake of their wealth, they are dead while they are alive. However, the stores of knowledge are what? They remain alive forever. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. فَلَا تَحْسَبَنَّ الَّذِينَ قُتِلُوا فِي سَبِيلِ اللَّهِ أَمْوَاتًا بَلْ أَحْيَاءٌ عِنْدَ رَبِّهِمْ يَرْزَقُونَ. Don't think of those who died in the way of their Lord as dead. Verily, they are receiving sustenance from their Lord. So if we die in the way of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, if we die in the pursuit of ilm, if we die pursuing the ultimate reality, which is God Himself, then we understand Ali ibn Abi Talib himself is telling us that this is going to make sure you remain alive forever. He's saying these people never die. It comes back to his tradition, does it not? That this life is an illusion. What we're currently experiencing is a dream. When we die, we wake up. This is the case. What we're currently experiencing is a dream. What we're currently experiencing, as the Quran states, is an illusion to some degree. When we die, we wake up. But what's the asset we take with us? What's the thing we take with us? Knowledge. At the end of the day, Imam Ali is stating, knowledge is the thing that's going to help us moving forward. So knowledge, as we mentioned, is of two sorts. Yes, we have the Zahiri and we have the Batini. I ask you, how can I go about attaining Zahiri knowledge? Simply going and studying, struggling, yes, reading the books. How can I go about attaining Batini knowledge? This is simply through tazkiyatun nafs. This is simply through purification. So the importance of this bahs is now brought here. وَيُزَكِّيهِمْ وَيُعَلِّمُهُمُ الْكِتَابَ وَالْحِكْمَةِ. The purification and the information then allows us to learn from the hikmah and the kitab, correct? Only when we've purified and then when we've educated, we are in a position to understand Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And this was the very role of Rasulullah, was it not? This was the very purpose of Rasulullah. In Surah Jummah, in the ayah, it states, وَيُزَكِّيهِمْ وَيُعَلِّمُهُمُ الْكِتَابَ وَالْحِكْمَةِ. That it's not just about knowledge. It states that you need to begin with. There needs to be a purification in the first hand. After we've done a purification, then when we move on with the journey, we are in a position to understand this ilm, and only then, as Imam Ali states, that we will be alive forever. We will attain this immortality. Not, for example, something leaving behind a legacy that doesn't really have any value. This is actually attaining somewhat the manifestation of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and allowing us to see the Akbar that we are pursuing on a day-to-day basis. So we have the Zahiri knowledge we will achieve, but the Batini knowledge, as I mentioned, we need to have the Tazkiyah to Nafs in order for us to understand it. Information and data is good. However, without the Tazkiyah to Nafs, we'll never allow ourselves to understand the Batini aspect of the knowledge. When we look at, for example, traditions related to knowledge, one really stands out to me. It's stated that when we pass away, there will be 4 types of fire that cover us. No? We've heard this tradition. It states that when one passes away, there will be 4 types of fire that covers the body. When these 4 types of fire come and cover the body, prayer will come and it will extinguish the first flame. Fasting will come and it will extinguish the second flame. Charity will come and it will extinguish the third flame. And then knowledge comes, and what does the tradition states? Knowledge said, had I known beforehand and had I been here, I would have extinguished them all. Why? One who has ilm, salah is automatic for them. One who has ilm, fasting is automatic for them. One who has ilm, charity is automatic for them. It's no longer an action or a wajib we have to do, or is incumbent upon us. It's something that's so logical, and it's something that's so natural, that once one has ilm, once one has hikmah, once one has understanding, only then can this individual state that we are doing salah. This is where we inverse it. We force ourselves to do salah at times. We force ourselves to fast at times. We force ourselves to give charity at times without understanding why we're doing it. When we understand why we're doing it, and when we understand the principle behind it, and when we understand the actual purpose and falsafa and tafsir of salah, of charity, of fasting, then when we do it, it's such a natural consequence. As we can see, the ulama and the urafa, praying for them was not a chore, no? It was rather something they looked forward to the time, because it was a natural of them having knowledge. And as they have knowledge, they understood Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. And the best way to manifest Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen is to put my head down in sujood. So where do we attain this knowledge from? And where do we get this aspect of understanding from ilm? We mentioned, Rasulullah stated, you can attain knowledge even if you have to go as far as China. You can attain knowledge even if the individual is not a Muslim. But where should we go to objectively and primarily to obtain knowledge from? Common sense would dictate what? Common sense would dictate the person or the individual is most knowledgeable. So this is why the school of the Ahmadiyya, we strictly and stringently follow this guideline, where Rasulullah has stated, I am the city of knowledge and Ali is the gate. So if we want to attain this knowledge, if we want to attain this ilm, we need to go there. We want to enter the city. We can't enter the city through the window. We can't enter the city, for example, through another entrance. We need to enter the city through the door. So in order to get through to the knowledge, in order to get through to the haqiqah, in order to understand the reality of existence, in order to get to the understanding of Rasulullah, we need to get through there via the means of the Ahlul Bayt. We need to get there via the means of Ali ibn Abi Talib. So I'll conclude, my time is now up, with a few sentences, inshallah, to bring our discussion to an end. So this 10-day lecture series was on what, brothers and sisters? The theory of knowledge. Yes? We try to devise a theory of knowledge so that we can understand and perceive the nature of reality as it is, objectively. And the Quran told us that we need to be objective in our endeavor. We need to be objective when we're understanding what the truth is. We can't come in with any prejudices. We can't come in with any biases. We can't come in with any understanding and say, this is how I perceive reality. I brought the example of the mirror. No, I stated if the mirror is blue, what's the reflection going to be? Blue. If the mirror is, for example, dirty, what's the reflection going to be? Dirty. If your mind is biased, your objective reality is going to be biased, will it not? So we need to come with an air of objectivity. We need to come with a cleansed palate. We need to come with an understanding to say that I am here to pursue the truth. And only then will we be successful. Ayah upon ayah of the Quran are telling us to practice objectivity. Because if we have such confidence that the truth is in the religion of Islam, that's where our journey will take us. Now, how do we get to this objective? How can we make the path clear for us? My last few sentences is on this point. So, the way that we can make it clear is simply through taqwa. The very first ayats of the Quran, it tells us what in Surah Baqarah? ذَلِكَ الْكِتَابُ لَا رَيْبَ فِيهِ هُدًى لِلْمُتَّقِينَ. Verily, this book is a guidance for those who have taqwa. So therefore, the question now remains, what is taqwa? No? What is this taqwa? I mentioned this in a lecture before, however, this forms the conclusion of the theory of knowledge. How do we actually understand what taqwa is? We state, for example, that religion for everyone. The Quran is about all. However, in the very first ayat, it's been limited, has it not? That this is only a guidance for those who have taqwa. This is only a guidance for those who are the muttaqeen. So who are the muttaqeen? Very quickly going over the common examples of taqwa. Number one, fear. The most common translation of taqwa is fear, no? Ittaqullah, ittaqun nar, fear Allah and fear the fire. As we come to understand, this fear is not the fear of the essence. This fear is the fear of the punishment. However, even then, this does not make sense in the context of taqwa. If we look at the concept of abstinence and states that abstinence is the meaning of taqwa, we can't say abstinence is the meaning of taqwa. How can me staying away from something build my iman? How can me staying away from something allow me to improve? In order for me to improve, I need to actually put myself in the environment. In order for me to improve, I need to put myself in the playing field. When I am faced with the challenges and I overcome them, then I have taqwa. It's not by staying away from the challenges altogether. So we know it's not fear. We know it's not abstinence. What about piety? The most common definition of taqwa, no piety. Shahid Mutahiri states that piety is a state acquired after taqwa. After we have used the tool of taqwa, we attain the state of piety. So the question then remains, and bringing the conclusion to an end, what is this taqwa that we're alluding to? Imam Ja'far Sadiq, salawat ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad, Allahumma salli ala Muhammad, gives us the answer. Someone asked Imam, what is taqwa? He stated staying away from that which is haram and doing that which is wajib. How profound this tradition is, we will come to understand after. However, by staying away from that which is haram and doing that which is wajib is going to bring us to the ayah of the Quran that states that one who has taqwa, Allah separates the truth and falsehood for you. Allah allows the truth to be in front of you. Allah makes everything so objectively clear only if you have taqwa. So our responsibility is to do what? Primarily to stay away from the muharramat. And then after that, we need to act upon that which is wajib. Then we can say we have taqwa. And then we can actually go about attaining knowledge. Because those who have taqwa, those who have this state of God consciousness, they stay away from what is haram. And they do that which is wajib. So coming back to Imam's definition, that taqwa is what? Staying away from that which is haram and doing that which is wajib. Staying away from that is evil and doing that which is most compulsory. So if I ask you, if the greatest truth and the greatest beauty on earth is haqq and truth, therefore what's the greatest evil? Ignorance, is it not? So my responsibility, if I am a muttaqi, my responsibility, if I want to link to the ayah of ذَلِكَ الْكِتَابُ لَا رَيْبَ فِيهِ هُدًى لِلْمُتَّقِينَ, if I want to benefit from the Quran, if I want to attain this truth, if I want to get to this salvation, what's my responsibility to do? Stay away from the greatest evil, which is ignorance, and go towards the greatest good, which is the truth. Taqwa is this. Stay away from that which is haram from you, and do that which is wajib for you. Stay away from all acts that lead you towards ignorance, and go towards all acts which allow you to get closer towards the truth. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala grant us the tawfiq to get closer to this truth, inshaAllah. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala grant us tawfiq to succeed in jihadun akbar. And may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala grant us the tawfiq to, inshaAllah, be raised in the army of Imam Sahib al-Asr wa Zaman. Wa akhir da'wana walhamdulillahi rabbil alameen. Salawat ala Muhammad wa alihi al-tahirin. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad.
اللهم رب الشهر رمضان الذي أنزلت فيه القرآن تر از تعلق عباد که فیه صل علی محمد و آل محمد وارزقنی حج بیتک الحرام فی عامی هذا و فی کل عام واغفر لی تلک الذنوب العظام فإنه لا یغفر غیرک یا رحمان یا الله.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحیم. محضر عزیزان و خوبانی که بیننده این برنامه هستید از مرکز اسلام انگلیس، عرض سلام و ادب و احترام دارم و آرزوی قبولی طاعات و عبادات مخصوصا روزهاتون رو دارم و امیدوارم که انشالله دعاهاتون هنگام سحرگاهان و هنگام افطار بر سر سفره افطار مستجاب باشه. در سرویس های بهداشتی در جاهایی که معمولاً استفاده از آب لوله کشی شهر میشه و شیلنگ وجود داره، هم محل نجاست ادرار هم محل نجاست مدفوع، هر دو رو با آب پاک میکنیم و خیلی ساده و آسان هست. بعد از اینکه جرم نجاست از بین رفت، یک مرتبه برای پاک شدن محل مدفوع کافی است، یعنی همین که شلنگ رو باز کردیم و اون محل رو آب گرفتیم پاک، و برای پاک کردن محل ادرار یا به تعبیر فقهی خودمون بول که البته دیگه جرم نداره و عین نجاستی نداره، 2 بار گرچه کم باشه با شیلنگ آب بگیریم کافی است. یعنی 1 بار میگیریم و دستمون رو میاریم کنار، دوباره بار دوم میگیریم و تمامه. اما در جاهایی که در سرویس های بهداشتی معمولاً در برخی از کشورها استفاده ای از آب لوله کشی نمیشه یا اصلاً آب نیست، محل نجاست مدفوع رو میشه با غیر از آب پاک کرد. از نظر شرعی اشکالی نداره، با هر چیزی که بتواند جرم را، یعنی اون عین نجاست رو، ذرات نجاست رو به طور کامل برطرف کرد، ما میتونیم از اون استفاده کنیم. مثلا فرض کنید از دستمال کاغذی استفاده کنیم، محل کاملا پاک بشه، حتی میتواند با این وضعیت نمازم بخونه، اشکالی نداره. اما اینو باید دقت کنیم که محل ادرار یا به تعبیر فقهی بول با هیچ چیزی غیر از آب پاک نمیشه، فقط با آب پاک میشه. حتی اگر آب قلیل هم باشه مانعی نداره. ممکنه فرض کنید در بعضی از این سرویس های بهداشتی کسی همراه خودش شیشه آبی رو ببره، ظرف کوچک آبی رو ببره و ممکنه برای پاک کردن محل مدفوع کافی نباشه، اب نداره، محل مدفوع رو میتونه با دستمال کاغذی پاک بکنه و از این آب برای پاک کردن و تطهیر محل ادرار استفاده کنه با آب قلیل. حتی به اندازه 1 استکان اگر باشه کافی است که بار اول 1 مقداری میریزه و قطع میکنه و بار دوم هم مقدار دیگری میریزه و پاک میشه. این 2 فرض. پس فرض اولی که شیلنگ هست، فرض دومی که آب به اندازه آب کمه، آب قلیل، فرض سومی که اصلا آب نیست. اگر اصلا آب نباشه محل مدفوع رو میشود با غیر آب پاک کرد، اما محل ادرار پاک نمیشه. بنابراین اگر بخواد نماز بخواند باید از این محل خودش رو باز منتقل بکنه به جایی که بتواند خودش رو آب بکشه، یعنی محل نجاست رو آب بکشه. چون میدونید محل نجس شدن ادرار اگر با آب پاک نکرد و آب در دسترسش نبود ممکن است حتی لباس خودش رو هم نجس بکنه. وقتی که لباس رو میپوشه لباس خودش هم نجس بکنه. بنابراین این مشکلات وجود داره و فکر نکنه که اگر با دستمال تمیز کرد پاک شده. نه خیر، پاک نشده، نجس است. بنابراین نیاز داره به آب، باید منتقل بشه به محل دیگری، حالا یا منزلش یا جای دیگری که آب در دسترسش باشه و برای نماز حتما این مقدار از بدن رو پاکیزه کنه و آب بکشه. البته ما اینجا یک گزینه دیگری رو هم میتونیم داشته باشیم و اون این است که اگر بخواد بره خودش رو به جایی برسونه که از آب استفاده کنه، وقت نماز میگذره، نماز قضا میشه. اگر در تنگی وقت نماز قرار داره بله مانعی نداره با همین بدن نجس نمازش رو بخواند. این رو ما بهش میگیم حال اضطرار و نمازش درسته و نیازی به قضا کردن نداره.
سیدی عبدک ببابک قامت الخصاصة بين يديك يقرأ باب إحسانك بدعاء فلا تعرض بوجهك الكريم عني واقبل مني ما أقول فقد دعوت دعوتك بهذا الدعاء وأنا أرجو ألا تردني معرفة مني برأفتك ورحمتك. إلهي أنت الذي لا يحفيك سائل ولا ينقصك نائل أنت كما تقول وفوق ما نقول. إلهي ليت أمي لم تلدني إلهي ليت السباع قسمت لحمي على أطراف الجبال ولم أقم بين يدي. إلهي ليتني كنت طيرا فأطير في الهواء من فرقك. إلهي الويل لي إن كان في النار مجلسي. إلهي الويل لي ثم الويل لي إن كان الحميم شرابي. إلهي الويل لي ثم الويل لي إذا أنا قدمت إليك وأنت ساخط علي من ذا الذي يرضيك عني.
بارا عرض کردم منبر دعوتش کرده بودن شهر غریب، شب رفت استراحت کنه تو عالم رویا. آقا بهش فرمود مقدس اردبیلی بلند شد، فلانی از دنیا رفته تو این شهر، برو با احترام بدنشو قوس بده، کفن کن مردم خبر کن، با احترام و عزت بدنشو بلند کنن. از خواب بیدار شد، با خودش گفت این کیه که به من اینطور سفارش کردن؟ صاحب مجلس و صدا زد نیمه دل شب، گفت فلانی کیه؟ یه نگاه کرد به مقدس، گفت تو از کجا میشناسی؟ گفت کیه؟ گفت آدم خوشنامی نیست تو شهر ما. گفت بلند شو بریم خانش. بده ببینن نیمه دل شب تو داری میری در خونش. گفت پاشو دم در خونه اومد، تقوا الباب کرد، دید یه صدای گریه یارومی میاد. زن در باز کرد، تعجب کرد. مقدس اردبیلی فرمود شوهرت کجاست؟ گفت دیر اومده، یه چند ساعتی از دنیا رفته. وارد خانه شد، دیداره انگار سالیان ساله، چشمشو به این عالم بسته. یه نگاه به زنه کرد، صدا زد در چه حالی از دنیا رفت. با شرمندگی گفت این مثل هر شب با حال خراب اومد خونه، اما امشب فرق میکرد، گریه میکرد، یه حرفایی میزد. چی میگفت؟ گفت این لحظه های آخر میگفت خدایا مقدس اردبیلی ببخشی، کار بزرگی نکرده، یه سگ روسیا مثل منو ببخشی، کار بزرگ کردی.
نایمکن الفرار من بی پناه، من اغفر لی الذنوب تویی پرگناه، من سبحانک بحمدک یا نور و یا کریم. یا رب تویی و بنده پر اشتباه
السلام المؤمن المهيمن العزيز الجبار المتكبر الخالق البارئ المصور الغفار القهار الوهاب الرزاق الفتاح العليم القابض الباسط الخافض الرافع المعز المذل السميع البصير البصير الحكم العدل اللطيف الخبير الحليم العظيم الغفور الشكور العلي الكبير الحفيظ المقيت الحسيب الجليل الكريم الرقيب المجيب الواسع الحكيم الودود المجيد الباعث الشهيد الحق الوكيل القوي المتين الولي الحميد المحصي المبدع المعيد المحيي المميت الحي القيوم الواجد الماجد الواحد الصمد القادر المقتدر المقدم المؤخر الأول الآخر الظاهر الباطن الوالي المتعالي البر التواب المنتقم العفو الرؤوف مالك الملك ذو الجلال والإكرام المقسط الجامع الغني المغني المانع الضار النافع النور الهادي البديع الباقي الوارث الرشيد الصبور الذي ليس كمثله شيء وهو السميع البصير اللهم صل أفضل صلاة على أسعد مخلوقاتك سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم عدد معلوماتك ومداد كلماتك كلما ذكرك الذاكرون وغفل عن ذكره الغافلون
ربنا ولا تحملنا ما لا طاقة لنا ربنا لا تجعلنا فتنة للقوم الظالمين ونجنا برحمتك من القوم الكافرين. الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله. أشهد أن محمدًا رسول الله. أشهد أن محمدًا رسول الله. أشهد أن عليًّا ولي الله. أشهد أن عليًّا حجة الله. حي على الصلاة. حي على الصلاة. حي على الفلاح. حي على الفلاح. حي على خير العمل. حي على خير العمل. الله أكبر الله أكبر. لا إله إلا الله. لا إله إلا الله. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. يا علي يا عظيم يا غفور يا رحيم. أنت الرب العظيم الذي ليس كمثله شيء وهو السميع البصير. وهذا شهر عظمته وكرمته وشرفته وفضلته على الشهور، وهو الشهر الذي فرضت صيامه علي، وهو شهر رمضان الذي أنزلت فيه القرآن هدى للناس وبينات من الهدى والفرقان، وجعلت فيه ليلة القدر وجعلتها خيرا من 1000 شهر. فيا ذا المن ولا يمن عليك، من علي بفكاك رغبتي من النار، في من تمن علي وأدخل الجنة برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين.